it is the biggest news of the day, and you ought to be able to say you heard about it from your old pal Jake as well. There's a politician. He's actually been in the game for a while. You may have heard of him. His name is, God help me, Joseph Robinette Biden. Robinette. He turns out he's going to run for office again. He's made the announcement. I think it comes as a surprise to no one. But it is going to be interesting to see the video shared by CBS, which is his announcement. And he tells us a little bit about how he's going to be campaigning. This will be useful for us to know. 2 reasons. Number one, it tells us what the mainstream Democrats view. Man, the wiggling microphone. What the mainstream Democrats view as Republican weaknesses. It will answer the question, is he going to keep running as a centrist? And it will tell us where we're going to have to be the mortar that fills in the cracks. Because if you're watching this channel, odds are you have an understanding that the genuine danger to the United States right now, and in fact to the world right now, is the Republican Party in the United States. I have aspirations one day about doing like regular segments that take place anywhere but the U.S. Can't do it right now because if I'm being honest about the interests of the world, boy, not having the fascist party control a country with a just obscene military, it's pretty important. So we're going to have to fill in the cracks. We're going to have to see who Biden is not pitching to and do the pitch for him. Without further ado, here's CBS telling us about Biden's announcement of his bid for re-election.
Good morning to you. This is a CBS News special report. I'm Gayle King here in New York. We're coming on the air with important news in the presidential race. President Joe Biden is officially running for re-election. Now, this announcement we know is not a surprise. It comes 4 years to the day after he entered the race for the 2020 Democratic nomination, and it sets him up for a likely bruising battle with the Republican nominee and a potential rematch with former President Trump. We have video of Mr. Biden's announcement released just moments ago by the Biden 2024 campaign.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election.
Let's bring in Weijia Zhang, who is at the White House. Weijia, good morning to you. What more can you tell us about the timing of this announcement? It's certainly not a surprise, but here we go.
Good morning to you, Gail, and good morning to everybody. You know, President Joe Biden is very sentimental, and today marks exactly 4 years since back in 2019 he announced that he was jumping into the 2020 presidential election. So there is that. This also gives him an opportunity to draw a contrast with the current Republican frontrunner, which is, of course, former President Donald Trump, who faces a criminal indictment and could see even more charges down the line. And so strategists want him out there, want the president out there to show that he's doing the job. You heard in that video, he was echoing some of the language that he used 4 years ago when it was that very race between him and Trump set up. And frankly,
I do want to hear the rest of what she has to say. I think we should probably give that a gander. But first, I do just want to comment on the video itself. My first impressions remain my second impressions. Good. Overall good. Basically because he's stressing in broad terms what I think is the most important issue. Whether you're progressive, whether you're liberal, whether you're conservative, it's the same appeal to everybody, which is your rights are being taken away by Republicans. Even if you hate unwed mothers and you're one of those people that's outside of abortion clinics throwing rotten eggs at them, the fact is, odds are, if your daughter was pregnant, you'd try to get an abortion for her, as we see time and time again. So the actual right to have an abortion, that's on the line. The right to walk the streets without being shaken down, that's on the line. The right to have books in libraries, God help us, that's on the line. That is, that's not something that's going to appeal to MAGA folks. They love the havoc. They love the chaos. They love the fascism. But most Americans, that's contrary to what we're all about. And so summing it up is very good. Another reason I like it is that he is not pretending to be more left than he is. I know that's going to be odd coming from somebody who's slightly left of Bernie. That's particularly odd coming from somebody who has openly said we should be working towards socialism eventually here. But what I want least is dishonesty. What I want most for them to avoid is dishonesty. Because if you are trying to draw a stark contrast between the two existing official parties, that's how you do it. Republicans lie and take away rights. Democrats do neither of those things. And that is how he is going to be able to sincerely appeal to the most Americans, which, as far as I'm concerned, I would rather have a lefty president who's going to talk about how they're going to help you. But if we got to have a centrist, which is what we have to work with right now, then good. I'm glad he's playing to his strengths, which is talking about how he's going to prevent you from being hurt. And there's a difference there. And he did a good pitch for it in that video. Let's hear what the news lady has to say.
I think he's tired of answering when is he going to run. We heard from one Democratic strategist who said, dispense with the suspense already. Get into the race, set it up so we can go, just like you said, Gail.
So, he did the announcement, as we all saw by tape. Some people are surprised he didn't do it live and in color in person. Do you think he's going to be hitting the campaign trail?
Gail, that is a huge, important question, because remember, 4 years ago, we were still in the middle of a pandemic, so it made perfect sense that he was sending out campaign video messages to get his points across. We are in a very different situation, but others have announced in this format as well. I think this is a campaign that likes a controlled message. This allows them to use their one shot to get it out there because they know he's the president. People are going to watch any video message that he puts out, especially when he's talking about re-election. The problem he faces, Gail, is that polls, including our new CBS News poll, shows that Americans and even Democrats aren't exactly excited about his run. In fact, just 54% are accepting of his run. 27% say he's nervous. And you can see right here how his approval rating has dipped and hasn't really been able to come back up. So I think it will be important for him to hit the campaign trail, but that's a big question. Just how much are we going to see him physically out and about engaging with voters?
All right, Weijia, and so it began. Something tells me, Weijia, this will be our lead at 7 o'clock. Will you be joining us, ma'am?
For what? I'm sorry, I missed you.
I said this will be our lead at 7 o'clock. Something tells me.
Boy.
I think I'll
Will you be
here.
joining us?
I think so.
All right.
I think it's a big story.
I think so, too. Weijia, always good to see you. Thank you so much. Of course.
Oh, I do love news banter. My word. One thing I'd like to do, I don't think this is realistic, but because it's asking a hell of a lot, but I would like to get some other former news people, preferably people that had like the job I had, where either radio folks or like producers, but like the people that literally had to gather the news and then hand it to somebody to go report. And I would like to get them like on just sort of we have a few beers and chat with y'all stream, because I think it would be fun to just heckle some newscasts together. There are groups you can join on social media that are for people in the news industry, and the high school pettiness of it, as well as the camaraderie, is delightful, and I think y'all would appreciate it, and I think y'all would get what we're talking about, because you're the sort of folks that watch political streams for fun, so you would understand it. Let's just jump in. I said my piece about what I like about Biden's message. Let's jump in to what y'all have to say. Lauren St. Laurent says he's going to run as the anti-MAGA, to try to have an anti-MAGA Republican and former votes plus younger, more progressive voters. Yeah. Ooh. I want to see. Ooh, Zix. By the way, we are working on an easier way to talk. I want to take proper calls again. We had Patrick Thibodeau on, but I felt like when I listened to the recording, I felt like you could barely hear him. So now I want to do it better. But let's see what Zix has to say. Not as bad as Hillary, but not my choice. Yeah, I agree. And they're not even going to risk a Bernie-esque mess like 2016. No debates, a fait accompli. Sorry, not good with other languages, even when they're part of mine. Yeah. He's going to run as we said that. Lauren St. Laurent says, anywhere but the U.S. What about Israel, Afghanistan? I didn't catch the context. I'm sorry. Anti-corporatist says, oh, it's over? Sorry, I must have nodded off. Yeah. I don't think that Biden is going to be terribly... You can see me morphing into an old man as the stream goes on. I don't think Biden's going to make anybody excited to go vote for Biden. But I think he's going to get tons of people to go vote for Biden. I think he is savvy enough and realistic enough to understand that nobody likes him all that much. They don't dislike him, but his strength is that nobody feels particularly passionate about him. Honest to God, I think if you had corporate Democrats out there right now, your Joe Manchins and your testers being like, oh, Biden, we love him. If you had your whatever, Chuck Schumer out there being like, yeah, Biden, that would take votes away from him. The Bill Clinton was a once in a generation politician that could do that, and we're worse off for it, in my opinion. Barack Obama pretended to be a progressive, let's be honest, and was not a progressive. Energy for Biden is not going to help him, and I think he knows it, because it won't be genuine. However, energy against Trump, energy against MAGA, that's what he's campaigning against. The Republican Party, their freedom-killing policies. I can't stress enough how pleased I am to see him choosing this path to run on. And I think that he is going to make his campaign less about him and more about giving him, as we've said from the start, is what we really need. More about giving him the tools he needs in order to pass things Democrats will be pleased with. That means booting Republicans out of the House and making damn sure they don't get the Senate. Senate is actually going to be easier than the House because there is less gerrymandering to worry about. But that is what the campaign is going to be about. That is what it should be about. And I look forward to seeing the rest of it.